called reading. They put in another computer. It's kind of getting expensive, but anyway, I talked to Matthew Lane about it, and anyway, we passed on all the information to him, and it's kind of expensive, and I don't know that we need it. And anyway, the flow meter to put it in, and so on. I'm not really sure how expensive it would be. I know the flow meter itself was right at $7, I think, something. And then to put in this waterfall meter is what they're recommending, but I don't know. I've talked to Matthew Lane. It's kind of expensive, and I'm not sure we want to put that much money into it.
How much is it?
Just installing it's $9,000.
What does it meter?
It'll measure the rainfall that we have,
Oh.
and I don't know if there's like a question about what's going into the school. You know what we're paying for that's coming off the roof. It would help us maybe determine something, but I don't know. It would need it. And really, the school, what I'm hearing from the school is that they're almost sure that they found the problem at the school. And I don't know if anybody's been back there or not, but it's a big operation. They've dug up a huge part of it at the rear of the elementary school. And they say Roto-Rooter's been down there doing the work, and they say they found a line that's got water, a lot of water coming out of it, and they don't know where it's coming from, but they're rerouting it over the hill. And they think that's going to be the rainfall that we're having to pay for. But anyway, it's
Well, we're still gonna put the meter in it.
well, that's we've got the price on the meter, and I don't see any reason not to put it in. But you know, if they've got the problem fixed, you know, then there wouldn't be a need for the flow meter. But I still think we probably know. No, we don't know. There's no need to go another year without knowing. So we will put the flow meter in. And this Cashmere company will do that. And anyway, I would prefer they do it. They're a good company. They're very impressive with the work and so on.
It can be done shortly.
Oh yeah, I think we can get it done. Yeah, as soon as the board, you know. Matthew Lane will get back with me, and we'll decide, you know, what to do. We just have to decide about this rainfall meter, whether we want to do that or not. But hopefully, I can get with Matthew and we can decide on something between now and Monday night. But anyway, we should be able to go with at least the flow meter. But yeah, I think we should go ahead with it.
Well, we waited long enough.
Yeah, long time.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's and if the situation's taken care of, then we're going to have a very interesting meeting with the school board in the very near future. So, okay, next thing we look at is considering the fire truck number 2105 is surplus. Shane's recommending that we do that. So we Monday night, unless there's something about it or something, we'll declare that surplus. And consider old computers and office equipment. Ben Shea, who's the intern that's working down at the school, that's codifying our records and so on. We've got all kinds of computers, old computers. We've got several DVD players, VCRs, whatever. But anyway, there's some of that we'll need because some of our records are actually on DVD players. And we'll need some of that. We'll have to keep some, but Some of that, I think, we probably should declare surplus, don't you,
Yeah, he's developing a list about it by next Monday night.
Or what needs to be surplus?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't really realize it, I hadn't thought anything about it, but there's things we got on VCR, records and so
Well,
on.
don't they need to be changed to,
Yeah. Well, the ideal thing really is to put everything we've got down there on thumb drives.
Yeah, some of the stuff is electronic, we need to get into electronic from tapes and various media, and Ben's been working on some of that and coming up with some ideas, and we may not get it all, but we're gonna get a lot of it to
What
be
are we gonna try to
electronic.
put it on?
Hard drive,
Oh, okay.
we got 2 hard drives on order, and they could be stored in the safe over here, so it'd be separate from everything else, but available.
Yeah, it'd be better than thumb
We're
drive.
supposed to have 3 copies of everything, and then that's what the government says, one or two of them here, one in the backup, and then one something or someplace else, an off-site location, so. Eventually, those hard drives could actually be stored in a bank vault if we wanted to do it that way.
And Ben has been doing a very good job down at the building, getting all the records out, and he's really been doing good. And while we're talking about it, Megan, our new recorder, has been doing a really good job, and we're proud to have Megan here, and she's really doing good. When I hear her talking to Verizon, trying to resolve some kind of a problem, and she's telling them how to go into this or that and do something that they don't even know, I'm kind of impressed. But I've seen that happen, so Megan is, she knows what she's doing, and we're really glad to have her. But anyway, I went into the room down and went into the building. I don't know, I guess it's been a couple of weeks ago. The school wanted me to take a look at the building along with April Couch. Of course, we've been talking about the little house, and they wanted to use it for something else. Anyway, we go in, and I didn't realize, I guess I did, but to see it all over the little house, boxes and things, of our records and so on, there's a lot of records, a lot of boxes. And we go in, and anyway, Christian asked Ben, he said, "Now, you're not going to tell me you looked at all the records in every one of these boxes?" And Ben said, "Well, actually, there's 2," and he's pointing to Chris, and he said, "I've not got 2 of these yet." But he's gone through a lot of stuff down at the building, and he's really coming along. And while we're at it, I got a call from Matt Hickson, and they're going to work up a contract for, well, they've already got it worked up. I think Joe's looked at it and so on, and we're going to get the little house back. There's some conditions that they want to sign
I
on.
think that was in the deal that we had the insurance on it to begin with.
Right, yeah.
I think our insurance though,
Yeah, I think what they're asking for is not really anything.
And we were supposed to mow it all along.
Yeah, I mean,
Do we mow it all?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
and take care of the building, so. And we never did do anything about that leak yet, have we?
No.
I'll tell you what, get with Megan, and we'll try to come up with somebody to go in and get that fixed.
where's it leaking?
It's on the roof somewhere. I think as soon as you walk through the front door, when you walk through the front door, it's leaking, well, it's leaking in several different places.
Maybe Charlie Thacker need to come and lick his scaffold.
Was he going down that?
That's a shingle roof.
Huh?
That's got shingles on it.
You sure?
Yeah.
Didn't we get like a 30-year warranty on that or something?
Well, maybe I'm wrong then.
Did they just put the shingle roof on late?
Three tab or architecture? There's three tabs. That's 25 years, you've over get 15 years.
We put that roof on after we got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought maybe you went back and put a tin roof on it. I don't think anything's been done to it.
I thought it was 10.
Well,
I don't know who done it,
I don't either, we need to find out maybe, but, you know, there's no need waiting for, you know, as long as the roof's leaking, we need to get it fixed. So anyway, try to get that taken care of, Bob, as soon as you can. Get with Megan, try to find out if we need to come in and repair it, but we need to get that done.
You want a new roof on it, or you want to just try to repair that?
The city committee spent $3,000 or $4,000 on putting that roof on.
And how long's that been?
Let's see, 11 years ago.
I don't say it's or more, either.
That's probably my standard shooting in the all 20s.
I don't know, they lasted 20-some years on mine.
You probably got better ventilation.
Well, they very well, they could have had some shingles blown off or something, probably is what's causing it.
Probably need to wait on any major improvements to the building until we iron out all the details on the contract. I've spoken to the school board attorney. We're pretty much in agreement on the technical things from the attorney point of view, but the board should have that final agreement before it on Monday and look at some of the things. I don't know whether there's a separate water meter. I don't know whether there's a separate electric meter.
The electric is separate.
Water meter separate.
Yeah, I think we've been paying those, I think on that, but
It's details like that that the board needs to look at,
The gas meter is separate too.
because neither of the attorneys would know this.
I do,
yeah.
seriously.
Well, but that's why it needs to come before you all to know what these details are.
I agree with you. I agree.
Okay, so the agreement with the school, we probably need to vote to accept that, I guess, Monday, wouldn't it, or not?
I think that's the goal.
Yeah.
The things that Mr. McCart and I have discussed are things dealing with, they used the facilities agreement that School Board Association developed for private parties. If a recreation league wants to use the ball fields, they have to indemnify the school system, which of course the town can't do. And so we've dealt with things like that, but the board's gonna have to deal with all the other details that are in the agreement to make sure that's something that you all wanna agree to or need to change.
How long's the contract gonna be good for?
They've got to renew annually. And that's something that maybe should be discussed between this board and the Board of Education. On the one hand, looking at it every budget session has some benefit insofar as unusual expenses and things that's a vehicle to look at. But on the other hand, considering what we've just passed through, 30 days notice, if you're gonna put a new $25,000 roof on it, seems inappropriate or not advantageous. So that's something that's gonna be beyond what the two attorneys are doing.
Can we look at this, get somebody to come up and look at the roof and possibly see if our insurance company will cover the damage? Okay.
Yeah, this agreement renews automatically every year. But they've got, either party wants to make a change or whatever, they've got 30 days, my understanding, right, to
Yeah, we looked at 90 days, talked about 30 days. Those, it's the term that both boards need to have a firm agreement on how to do that. I mean, heck, if you had to move all the records that are in there, where would you move them with a 30-day deadline?
You just have to get a little space.
Rental or move storage building in.
Was I was talking,
Comments, but
But see, that's, the other part of that is, you know, if you, like a storage building or one of these rental storage, paper doesn't store well in one of those. You'd have to have a climate controlled storage area. And certainly VHS tapes are not gonna store in something that gets down below 0 in the winter and over 100 in the summer.
Well, is have this on a flash drive?
Well, it's a good reason to have one on electronics, yeah.
Yeah.
For any kind of a disaster,
Yeah.
regardless of what it is, yeah, that's kind of the idea of what we're going with. It's, we're supposed to have it so that we can recover anything and everything that we're supposed to have. If we had a disaster somewhere, we still have a backup that would be able to put us back into business again. You wouldn't want to lose all your ordinances and resolutions and minutes and all that kind of stuff, so.
See that?
What was discussed?
You're saying too that you'd have to have 3 of them, right? 3 flash drives for each.
Two hard drives to handle all the stuff.
Okay.
We're using a flash drive right now to transfer all the information on PDFs into this computer, and then the hard drive we can plug in here and back it up.
Okay.
and I, of course, hear me talk about all the records and everything that's down there, but I think as each year goes by, we can actually get rid of some things. Then
Well, we get rid of roughly the same amount that we'll be putting down there, because every year you're gonna put
Well,
a
enough.
batch down there. We've been collecting for about 15, 20 years, I don't know. Ben, what's the oldest address?
The oldest one I have is the planning minutes from 1959. And yeah, VHS tapes, the oldest I have is from 85. So that's how, that's the day range we're looking at.
Just to give you an idea of the size of this project, the guide that we're using is 50 pages long, put out by MTS on records retention from state law. So it's rather complicated, but Ben's done a good job of sorting through it.
One of the things that was discussed some years ago was entering into an agreement with a sister city and literally having a hard electronic copy of a device of some kind, and Mount Carmel would send you theirs and you'd send yours there. So place flooded, burned down, the cloud failed, there'd be a hard one in another remote location. But public records is statutory. I bet money that there is no Hawkins County Public Records Committee, but there probably should be.
Since we're talking about around the house, what about the senior breakfast?
okay, when we get through, when Ben gets through, we can put everything back in the rooms, we'll start the breakfast back. And James' mom is agreed to do our breakfast. And I think we can get back to biscuit and gravy and
Some
normal breakfast, yes, yes. Yes, I'm looking forward to it, but anyway, James' mom is, and I think his dad's gonna be there.
Well, you don't qualify.
Okay.
What is the age anyway? 50?
I thought, whatever anybody comes. No, seriously, like, we've had some younger folks come, and that's all right too.
Right. I don't, you know, I don't know how we can turn anybody away, but if it gets to that point, then, you know, we need to make a change or something. But anyway,
It's
we
never
got,
been, it's never been a problem.
no, it's not been a problem. The only problem we had really is when we had it, you know, at a restaurant. And it was kind of open to people other than Surgoinsville residents. But anyway, that's all over there. Okay. The commitment of ARPA funds for road paving, matching dollars for ARPA TDEC grant, and equipment necessary to manage our current services. Okay, so part of this, I've talked to Matthew Lane, and I talked to Ken Ray, and I told Ken that we need to get started on the project, which I think everyone's in agreement with, but we've not actually voted to begin the project of putting the sewer line over to the port line. And we need to do that, and so I've informed Matthew Lane last week to go ahead and start the design phase of that. And then I think maybe Monday, we need to go ahead and vote to commit that money, I think, don't you, Joe?
Right, and what he'd do is start a preliminary engineering report.
Anyway, he said he would get on it and get that done, so, but we need to go ahead and, you know, Ken Ray wants us to vote to make it official that we're committing it. So we can do that Monday. Does anybody have a problem with that?
I don't.
And out of our money, I think that's, it's gonna be around 800,000, I think. Plus, then, when we do that, we've got that money left over, and we've talked about doing Creek Road. And if we do Creek Road, I've talked to Chad with Dura Pack, the people that done our paving for us, which did a good job. I'm real pleased with their work, but anyway, he said that they would honor the bid up until, I think he said October. They've got work to do in Rogersville late September or in October. And he said if you wanted to do Creek Road, they would honor the bid that they made, which did we decide was 101.
It's $101,100, I looked today. Creek Road, without the widening and the striping, so we'll probably have a couple of change orders to add those to that.
Yeah, I talked to him about the widening it, and he said he had looked at it, and he said, well, that won't be a problem. He said there may be a little room in some locations, but he said, I think some of it you don't have to widen. But he said, we can look at it, and the way he talked, it wouldn't be a big problem to widen it. And he said, I don't know to tell you if it would cost more to do that, but he said, once we look at it, I can tell you and do the measurements and so on. But anyway, I feel like if we do Creek Road, we'll have the money to do it in this ARPA funds and widen it, and then with striping it will be a separate project, and it'll probably cost around $3,000, I think, to just stripe it. But I really believe with new paving and striping that road and widening it in places will be a much more comfortable road for an access road.
MTS recommended that we didn't stripe anything that's that narrow.
Really?
Yeah. 'Cause, That's what they recommended on Old State Road.
Yeah, I talked to him about the widening it, and he said,
That's what they told Eddie when they did it. They didn't recommend striping.
Well, I'll tell you what, we can talk with them, Task, and see what the recommendations are, but, the reason I think it'd be good to stripe the road is, when you go up Creek Road at nighttime, it's not easy. I mean, for.
You drive a 102-inch trailer up through there
I
too.
know it, I know, but I just feel like people would appreciate the fact that that was an easier road to drive on Creek Road, and especially at night, I do. And I think we have the money, we can do it. And I can get with, MTS and see what their recommendations are and why and so on, but I think the striping is important, I do.
It's not MTS, it's TTAP that
Yeah.
provides
Yeah.
that information. Tennessee Transportation Assistance Program.
Well, we're
They
in
came out
contact
here
with,
not long ago.
yeah, we're in contact with that guy.
So anyway, for the funds that we have, those two projects is something we've been talking about, and I don't know, is this something we need to take up this meeting, Joe, or can we wait one more meeting?
On deciding,
Well, on the taking the sewer to the 4-lane, we need to do this meeting.
we need to find out from Ken Ray as the administrator when the deadline is for committing.
December 31,
24.
2024. Finish it by 26, December 31.
Well, if the deadline is not until December of next year,
That's for committing. But you want to do that a little sooner on a project this size.
well, right, but it doesn't have to be done next week.
Well, that's what we're trying to
But
decide.
that's what needs to be confirmed with Ken Ray. Ken Ray needs to give you an email in writing that says you don't have to do it next week, you can wait 2 weeks.
Okay.
But they've sometimes been lax in advising the town on deadlines until you need to have this done tomorrow.
Right. Okay. Let's see. Let's discuss it. Oh yeah, the Dodson store property, Johnny Mack came to see me this morning and about something else, but anyway, he also mentioned the fact that they do have that property up for sale, which I informed the board, I guess about a year ago, that it's up for sale. And it seemed like they were asking quite a bit of money for it. But I told Johnny Mack, I said, well, when we were talking about it for the town, I was looking at maybe $25,000 for that property, and the only reason the town would be interested in it, it's right there where the park is, and we could pave it and use it for parking for the park, and also where the store was, there's a concrete pad there. And when I look at that, I think, well, that'd be a really nice place to put a picnic table, maybe even a shelter for picnics. If somebody, I think it would interest people, be something to do. Although we would probably have to fence off Main Street for safety purposes. But that's just something I had in mind, and I don't know where they would be on the price. I don't know if it's something we'd be interested in, but we did discuss that.
It's pricey. What are you, $50,000?
Yeah. Well, I told Johnny Mack, I said, I think that it's been priced at 49, and he didn't say he didn't think it was that high, but I think it is.
I looked at that.
Did it? So that is what.
It was way up.
Yeah.
That was the price before,
That they're selling it.
No, man.
Yeah,
about 40, how much is it?
49, I think. So.
How much property is there?
Well, it's a pretty good, it's more than you think. That goes back really behind the vegetation.
Rock.
We gotta look at a lot of rock.
There's a lot of rock. Yeah, that's what you do. Yeah. Yeah, the only part that could be used is what you can see. Really. But anyway, we'll, the discussions with Johnny Mack will probably continue, and we'll see what, in fact, when he left, we left it at we can negotiate and see exactly what they want, so. But it's, for that purpose, it's right there at the park, Creekside Park. So, we'll see. And that's all I have down. Joe, you got anything else?
A couple of things. Here's an order of the Tennessee Board of Utility Regulation that the town has until September to complete the annual information report on the sewer system.
I think I completed that already.
You completed that?
I'll go get it and make sure that it's the same document. There was a fellow that come here and helped me. Maybe true.
That's serious issue. The order goes on to say that failure to comply with this directive will result in subpoenas being issued for the 7 of you to appear in Nashville and explain why you haven't.
I prefer not to do that.
That's,
It's the day by July 1st.
mhm. Just need me a copy. I should have a draft of an expression of interest for repairs to the or restoration of the ferry to determine if there's anyone even interested in performing that work for the town. I should have that for the board. And we need a employment contract with the new licensed sewer collection operator for the town. And I should have a copy, a draft of that proposed license or proposed employment agreement. Treat them as an independent contractor. Board can review how that's being set up and have that finalized.
Who's on it now?
Okay, that's, I hate I didn't have that down, but anyway, I'm glad Joe needs it now. Steve Alsman, who's been our operator, had to leave for the same reason Ken left when he was our operator before, Ken Johnson. And Ken, if you remember, had to resign because Churchill wouldn't allow him to do part-time with Surgoinsville. And so he had to resign. Then we hired Steve. Anyway, now Steve Malsheim Sewer, they contracted a private company to do sewer operations for the town of Malsheim. They have regulations, and part of their regulations is their operator can't be employed part-time anywhere else. So Steve's had to resign. But Ken Johnson is now only working part-time for Churchill, and anyway, he was available, and it's been about 6 months ago, he came in and expressed to me an interest in coming back if we needed somebody. So I went ahead and hired Ken back, and Ken was a good operator. He was, he came in, he would come in a few times, every now and then and check on town and go look at some sewers. And I told him that, I would like for him to do that at least once or twice a month. And So anyway, Ken's back on the payroll as our operator, and he's contacted, PDEC and so on, and so everything's, is okay there. And, but anyway, and then what Joe was talking about, I had Joe to draw up something that we can put out to see if there's any interest from anybody in trying to do something with the ferry. If, just and maybe to get into it and see how expensive it would be or whatever. But anyway, it's simply, it's not something anybody's bidding on. They can just show some interest and look at it and see what they think.
It's the preliminary way without having requests for proposals or bids. That's the request for expression of interest is just that, to see if there's anyone that's even, you could ask for a proposal.
Yeah, we need a rough, there needs to be a rough estimate on
Right.
some type of estimate.
Yes.
That frame looked pretty rough.
If you get no expressions of interest, it's gonna be real difficult to even get a estimate, if there's nobody that even has an interest in talking about it.
Well, I think if, without breaking the bank, if we could get the ferry looking like the ferry did, in some of the pictures that we have, and it's sit down there on display, I think would be nice. I think, it would be of some interest to a lot of people, in our area. I really do. But like I said, if it's gonna break the bank, then, I don't think we'd probably go too far. But we'll see. I think maybe we'll see.
It's the first step.
Yeah.
See if there's anyone even interested.
And also, while we're on that, I haven't yet. I've talked to Billy Craddock one time, and Billy told me that he would be interested in helping the town and looking at the park and looking to see what he could do a sidewalk for us and steps. And Billy said, I'll do it and I'll help the town, Merle, and I won't be unreasonable. I know where your money's standing and everything, but he said, I'll look at it, and he said, just let me know when. I haven't gotten back in touch with him, but anyway,
I'll
Billy.
tell you something else we're gonna have to do. I looked at it today. We're gonna have to put some kind of footer under the bridge. His force that pitiful
The walk bridge.
to cover the bridge. It's pitiful. We're gonna have to fix that before we do anything else.
Okay, John and Joe McClain
That was-
did they have in mind?
I heard that they said now they wasn't gonna do it.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know.
That's what I heard. That's what I was told.
But
Well, I think what.
But now
we
look at
need-
it when you go by there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's washed out of thunder, bad. We're probably gonna have to drill in those rocks. The rock underneath it there, not the loose rock, it's the big rock. And put some anchors in there, and then form around it and fix it. So if we don't, it's gonna fall.
Well, wouldn't probably be better off just get somebody that does that and have them come in and give us an estimate on
Yeah.
what they need to do. Just get it fixed. Let's just do that.
I've not looked at the roadside, but now the park side is in bad shape.
Is there not any grant money available for parks?
They probably are. I don't know, exactly what.
Randy's our park man.
They've, they just opened it up. I got an email about 3 weeks ago. They're opening it up. Consider an application starting in October.
Okay.
So evidently the money's gotten assigned or whatever. They have opened it up. Or starting it anyway. So they'll be considering it in October.
Okay. That would help a lot.
There's probably bridge money available as well.
Probably.
This would be something perhaps to see if the, having a senior moment, they,
Surely not.
it's just names, it's the tip of the tongue syndrome.
No, I don't think so.
Something or other partners that the town has used for home, administrate home grant, CDBG, before. They're doing a lot of things now for Mount Carmel, in the grant, field. And probably, I think we looked one time some years ago at a private, grants facilitator, and it probably wouldn't hurt to go, deal with them.
The guy that you recommended in Nashville, and he spoke to us in the past, was a good choice out there.
Well, he's doing some things for Mount Carmel, and that's what made me think, they charge you a fee, but if they can get you a grant,
Yeah.
because just filling out the forms, there's certain magic words that if you include, you're gonna be considered, and if you don't have the magic words, you're kind of put in a different stack.
Okay, Vince, you got any?
Yeah, a
We're
couple
gonna have a
of,
meeting.
got a couple of things. Property up on the 408 beside the restaurant up there, I think McPeak, I believe owns it.
Yeah.
Yeah, where the campers set up.
Barn fell down in the past year or so.
Maybe Carl on the property.
Yeah.
Got
Well, I
a,
think they've sold it, I think.
Is that for something?
it's up for sale. Got a realtor with a potential buyer talking about would y'all entertain letting a campground go there? And, yeah, it's zoned R1, permitted use does not include campgrounds. I told them if you all would entertain it, it'd be a process, take a few months at best. Just wanting to try to gauge your interest. Would you want a campground, and whether or not you do, we need this. Got a campground going across the river, but it's in the county. But we probably need to establish what district we're going to allow campgrounds in and have some regulation. There's a state law, if you come in here and you're properly zoned, and I want to see your regulations, what I can do, and he applies for it. State law, you can't go in and change the rules once he's came in and made that inquiry, so we perhaps want to establish some rules. An acre, we allow 100 or we allow 10. Did he provide a plan? I
No.
told him to get with you and provide us with a plan for us to even consider.
No plan, just would we consider it. We need some, I think, you need some rules, because it's going to come up again, it's getting to be popular. People wanting to buy property and put a dozen tiny houses on it, make them vacation rentals. If you don't have rules, then like Joe confirmed, state law, if you come in and you don't have rules, you pretty much can't establish them after the fact.
Well, that's
So I'd ask permission to get with the planner and bring something to the planning commission.
We're gonna meet next Tuesday night.
I think we need to, just so notice.
my first thought about that, it's kind of busy, it's a busy area right there, and I'm not sure. I mean, I'm assuming the way people that live there would feel about that would matter to the board, I'm sure.
How many acres is it?
4 plus.
Hmm.
He's talking about if not doing that, perhaps making residential lots there. I was looking at it right down to the east of it. There's 6-acre lots, 3 of them fronting on 11W and 3 of them fronting on Main Street. They've not made any effort to market them, to my knowledge, but they're already there, ready to.
Joe, ain't you got some friends that build houses? Hey, look how many they built in Kingsport. How many we got? We've got double wides. I mean, everybody's got to live somewhere, don't get me wrong. But I'd like to see some $1 million houses, $500,000 houses.
Jonathan's starting to in Virginia Hills.
I know.
He's got,
I know.
I don't know, how many's he got under construction, James?
He's got one on your old lot.
Yeah, I've got one.
It's not sold yet, and then he's starting footers, just poured footers on 2 within the past 6 weeks.
Yeah,
How big's the one right next to you?
I don't know how big that house is gonna be, it don't look very big.
Well, they dug out in there.
Yeah, that's why, the way they got it dug out, it's chopped up.
And then they poured footers out here, out front of that.
didn't they buy all 3 of those lots?
About 2, first 2.
Oh, okay.
On the 3rd and 4th.
Tim,
Oh, okay, so you've got the, I
You
got
know, they're talking about putting a pool in there too, so I think they'll take care of those 2 lots.
yeah.
The way Jonathan talked.
Put a pool in.
Yeah.
we can slip away at night, Gary.
Yeah.
Well,
You know, really, there are people that are building subdivisions of very upscale developments.
Yeah.
I mean,
But what I'm saying, Joe, there's available properties around that the people would probably sell, that would build some nice house.
well, the example is the Edinburgh community out on Rock Springs. They went out in a cow pasture and bought a bunch of acres and
We don't hold interest
putting
on
$500,000 house in there.
Well, look what they did here at Allendale. And then at the old Walmart up there.
You don't want that much building,
Well, the old Walmart is not an upscale development like
Yeah.
you were mentioning.
Yeah.
They're selling them like hotcakes, it's the price of the building.
But that's the thing, just, if you remember here a few years ago, Mount Carmel developed a subdivision that went, I think, 4 phases. They had relatively small lots, were selling a freestanding site-built home for in the $100,000 range, and people lived as far away as Greenville, or worked as far away as Greenville, because that's where you could buy a new house.
You know, they're selling for 250,000 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's finding someone that is ready to invest their money and making whatever governmental facilities available to make it happen.
But still, you know, they did that same thing in Churchill here at Volunteer Point. You know, they built some pretty nice, whatever there, I don't know, apartments or houses.
That's the same bunch as building up there.
It,
Yeah. And building inspector goes in behind them and they have to redo about half of it, because he's got crews that come in and do it in stages. And when they mess up, the one coming in has to fix it, so it's a mess.
Also, I promised you a sewer rate recommendation. I looked at the present fee schedule, and it's got provision in there if the cost to provide the tap exceeds the $12.50 that the customer has to pay it. And I don't see a willingness on the part of the board to raise the fee, so I didn't prepare anything.
Well, I think that's something we may need to wait and see what, I think we've got other organizations, the comptroller's office, you know, offered us help, and we can maybe see what they what they've got in mind, or at least talk to them about it. I mean, we may need to raise it, I don't know. It's something we need to discuss, I think. Randy's made a good point. You go raising everything, as far as the homeowners concerned, they're gonna be hit from every side and they won't like it. And, we need to study what we're gonna do. But anyway, I appreciate you, Vince, looking at that. Anyway, talking about safety.
May we proceed on the campground, something for the planning commission?
I think we need to meet and go ahead and talk about it. I just feel like, there's nothing.
I told him to get you plans.
No, he didn't do that, he just called me, asked me,
Mr. Dillon, was that the one that called you?
Gillen,
Yeah.
Josh Gillen,
Okay.
counselor.
I seen him in here to see you.
Yeah,
Okay.
he didn't really tell me much more either.
I think maybe for that meeting, it wouldn't hurt maybe to get some pictures of that property, so we could maybe look at it. Or an aerial view or
I'll get you
something.
an arrow view.
Yeah.
And would our rules include, would it be, if we set rules for that, even across the river, is that in our planning?
No.
No?
I don't think that's in the town, is it?
No, what he's doing now is not, he's got some property next to you that's in the town, but he's not touching anything there.
Okay. Okay, so over behind my house, there's some of that's in the city, but not down that road.
Down there where he's putting that road back to where he's going to the campground, as far as I know, that's all county.
Right, okay.
And the new mayor, I think, is starting to talk about zoning and perhaps building permits that hadn't got there yet.
Okay.
That's a bad one, you don't want to take that.
He's talking about doing it, but I know what you mean.
Well, he calls me. He's been very nice. We asked him if we could do the fireworks from over there the way we've been doing it, and he's happy to do that. And anyway, Shane's gonna take a paper to sign. So all that's okay. But that is in the county, I think, most.
Yep.
I know, Bob, before I get to you, you're happy about the backhoe, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Has everybody seen the backhoe?
Not yet. I've not been on it.
I'll tell you, it's nice. It don't look like a backhoe to me, but it's very nice. And I think we got it at a darn good price. I do. We got that at a party. Anyway, it's out there if y'all want to go by and look at that thing. It's and maybe Monday, Bob, I'll tell you what, Monday, just bring it out so everybody can see it. Anything, Bob, you got anything else?
Yeah, over on Reynolds Road, there next to Tom Davis's place, there's a house there. His driveway gets washed out every time it comes a big storm.
Yeah.
It's got a basin above his driveway. And I don't know how you all feel about it, but we could probably cut the road and put a grade across through there where that water would turn and go into that basin. He's got a tile down through there, goes through his yard, and it runs the water out.
Mm-hmm.
But the way it is right now, his driveway, it's freaking horrible.
Oh, I know what it is.
And we go over and, fix it back for him. And he's real nice about it. And he actually come in here and talked to me Thursday or Friday morning about it. And I told him we'd get them over and look at it, but then the storm here comes through. And Randy had texted me earlier about it. And I was talking to Donnie about it today, and go over and work on it, but we don't have to come up with a plan on his driveway to keep from washing it.
Could we just put a swell in there?
Yeah. Yeah, you can do that.
I mean, like, take it about 12, 15 foot and, you know, just to run the water out. I don't know.
I don't know what to do about that property.
It's been a problem for the last 25 years.
Yeah, he said.
Is it private property or public property?
The water run off from the road.
Run off the road, it's on the private property.
You can't go on private property to fix the gas. Well, Joe's an attorney, not me.
That's what I just,
I think what's happened is, we had a tile down there, and one of the landowners crushed the tile
That's on.
on
Davis.
Tom Davis.
Yes, it is crushed.
He crushed the tile, and that created the water problem on.
So that's keeping the water from going out.
And too, there's a couple of ditches down there that's filled up also, that they filled up over years. I guess political mold creates a little bit of water runoff too. But yeah, I know where the tile is. I found it.
I don't know if there's anything we can do about that. Is there, Jeff? I don't know.
you can ditch the right of way, but you can't make improvements on private property.
In other words, we can't make them fix the tile.
Well, if the tile's not on the right of way, if the tile is damaged by someone accidentally or purposely, I mean, that's public property. They should repair what they've damaged.
So we got grates on the other side of the road, right under the.
Yeah, he's got a basin built. He's got an 8-inch tile, or, yeah, that flex pipe goes down through there on him. He done it, I guess he done that himself.
The water's running straight down the road, no ditch line, nothing, and it's running right into this guy's, I mean, the water flows right into that guy's driveway,
Yeah.
washing the driveway down. And it's the way the roads,
Recommendation probably should come from an engineer. Oftentimes, very small changes, or what appear to be very small changes in surface water control can cause very large consequences.
like down
And,
at the airport,
I'm sorry,
like down at the airport, what they did down at the airport.
I mean, sometimes you see a situation and you think, gee, putting about a 6-inch curve over here will solve the problem. But what you've done is redirect the water, and all of a sudden, they're measuring in cubic yards of water in rainstorms coming onto someone else's property. And that probably ought to be reviewed by the engineer.
Is he
With Matt Cates from,
That's what me and James talking about, the guy Brad. He's over the drainage system that was with Matt. I could probably get with him and maybe get him to come down and,
make a recommendation.
yes. I can't remember his last name, but I know his first name's Brad.
See if you can do something before, well, he probably can't come for next minute.
Speaking of drainage, that tile right there at Kinzinger, Williams, and Reynolds, it stopped up bad. Can y'all get the fire department to blow that?
Well, I got with Shane. He said he'd be out first for so many days, but then he got called in. He's supposed to go with me, Randy, and everything. I've got a list of tiles. Probably take 2 days to go around and blow out. I've not heard nothing from him.
Joe, somebody wrote it.
But I'll try to get with him tomorrow, or Steve, either one.
He's the only one that I
Try
know
to clean these
that has
out.
ever used for drainage.
Anything else, Bob? Bob,
No,
anything?
no, I was thinking, no, there's nothing else.
Larry, you got anything else?
No,
I'll tell you one other thing before we go, of course, I was telling you how Ben and Megan are working, and how things are going, but anyway, Megan has been looking at our phone services, the charges, and trying to figure out how we could save some money. But just this morning, she had us looking at, like James and I looked at a bill, so almost $500, right at $500 a month. It took us a few minutes, of course, James knew what it was for, but $500 a month is for the phone, and I'm not sure what phone it is, James, but anyway.
What is
the phone?
come back to be my police department line and the bank's line,
Yeah,
which is entirely too much.
but what it's set up for, and it's working, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's simply the alarm that we got on the sewer at the school, and when the pumps overflow, then the alarm calls, it used to call 5 different people, but now it just calls James. But anyway, Megan's pointing that out, we're paying $500 a month for that. And we need to find, it's just a service, and we can find somebody else that would provide a service, I think probably cheaper than that. Anyway, she's looking at Host and Connect and some other companies, but anyway, we'll probably come out of that saving some money, I would think.
Well, I thought all along we should get some folks to connect on the internet.
Well, I think that's what you're looking at more than anything,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, and their phone services are also gonna be significantly cheaper.
I've not had any problem whatsoever on my internet. Have you?
I bet.
they
Mine sits there and does this one.
responded every time I've had
Mine
an
don't.
issue. No problem.
And the perk of that too is with Holston Hay, we're a commercial property, anytime that we have an issue, as long as our router is through them, we will take priority over any residential phone calls too. So if we're having an issue and I call from my house and then I call from here, they're gonna fix here before they go to my house and fix the internet there. So it's got a few perks as well, and you can usually get a hold of somebody that actually communicates and is willing to help in the same language, so that's very helpful.
But what I've seen, I've been AT&T users.
Oh, yeah. Scott County Care,
I hadn't tried them.
their internet is faster and
I've
cheaper.
heard, but that's what Shane said.
Faster, cheaper.
But I was just trying to say it was
Yeah.
fun.
You know what, I haven't heard anything about them in a long time.
They come to the subdivision up there where we live, and we're trying to get people to sign up for it.
I've got it at the house, and if you know where I live at, I mean, it's great.
Okay.
Do they have an office here, James?
They've got the
Substation.
substation out here on Church Street.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Who's this?
Scott County Cable.
Yeah.
They got it started first, and then Holtz Connect jumped in on the backside of it and then overtook them. That's what happened. Because they got permission to do it first.
Yeah, we have to get it, what would it be, another grant?
Something like that.
Yeah. $900,000, close to $1 million. I've got one question now.
But
We bought the garbage truck, did that loan go through?
never went through. No,
Why?
audits are not done on time.
And then we're patting Roy for Mars on the back. Something's wrong somewhere. $185,000, we paid for it.
well, the thing about it is, we had the money, I don't think.
Well, that's not the point. We were supposed to borrow the money, and you got money for something else. Tell you something wrong somewhere.
I think as soon as the accountant gets that done, which I talked to him late, July, and he's talked like it's any time he can have it. So I think when that's done, that will pick back up, I think.
No, we probably will.
Yeah, in fact, what's his name, that's over that, he told me, I talked to him on the phone not too long ago, and he said everything's fine, whatever. You know, everything's just staying the way it is, and he'll keep it ready for us. So, I mean, it's something we'll pick right back up on as soon as we get the accountant to get that squared up, which I think will happen anytime, so.
I think we have, don't we, Larry, got all the information to Rhoda for Moss to give to the auditor, don't we?
Yeah, they got everything that they asked for, so they should be finishing that up pretty soon, as far as I know.
Well, how many years are we behind?
Just one right now. She's got 22s.
Now, when they get that done, we'll be caught up.
Well, we have the current one that is probably not gonna be completed by December. It might be completed before April. And once, Megan's already has some of the, programs for local government finance installed, and we're doing the taxes this week. And so we should have that up and running sometime pretty soon. And that's gonna be the basis of getting regular financial reports, timely audit completion. We can see the light at the end of the tunnel. But it's been a hard road. I think we were behind 4 years at one point.
We most certainly were, yes. Yeah, when we would have an audit come in, it'd be at least 2 years behind. But now with the laws changing, and, you know, the state regulations changing, it's, you know, everything's, I mean, well, just like the year that just ended,
Well,
we need to get started on it.
with all of the things that have been put in place and are being implemented, this should be the last one where we have a real problem.
Well, anybody got anything else? Okay, I appreciate everybody coming. Our meeting is 7 o'clock next Monday night.